In a major development during the ongoing federal case against Sean Diddy Combs, musician Sheila E took the stand and delivered testimony that stunned the courtroom. Her statements centered on late music legend Prince, a legend that had long feared a powerful network within the industry, and had specifically named Diddy as part of it. From secret gatherings to alleged blackmail tactics, the testimony has added a chilling new layer to an already explosive trial. This is what Sheila E revealed under oath. On Day 7 of the federal trial against Sean Diddy Combs, the courtroom witnessed an unexpected and emotional development. Renowned percussionist and longtime Prince collaborator, Sheila E, took the witness stand under oath. Her appearance had not been publicly announced, and many observers assumed her role in the trial would remain peripheral. What followed was anything but. Sheila began her testimony by stating that she was not there to offer secondhand rumors or speculative commentary, but to deliver a message Prince himself had wanted to share. She positioned herself as a longtime confidant who had spoken to Prince regularly during what she described as his most spiritually and emotionally unsettled years. According to Sheila, Prince had grown increasingly wary of certain figures within the entertainment industry. He believed powerful individuals were using fame and influence to create a system of control, particularly targeting young, vulnerable artists. And one name came up repeatedly in private conversations: Sean Combs, also known as Diddy. Sheila stated that Prince did not speak lightly or recklessly. He was careful with his words, she told the court. But he said Diddy was part of something bigger. A circle, a machine, and he told me directly he didn't trust him. Prosecutors asked Sheila to clarify whether Prince believed Diddy was simply dangerous or if he was actively orchestrating harm. Her answer was clear. He believed Diddy had leverage over people, that he gathered things, information, footage, secrets, and kept them for control. The courtroom, packed with press and legal observers, sat in complete silence. What had started as a high-profile celebrity trial now felt like something deeper, an investigation into the inner workings of an entire industry. And Sheila E had just opened the door. During the second portion of her testimony, Sheila E recounted a specific event that Prince referenced as a turning point in his relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. The year was 2006. Prince, known for fiercely protecting his privacy and the sanctity of Paisley Park, allowed Diddy to host a private industry event at the estate, a decision Sheila said Prince later deeply regretted. Sheila described the night in detail. The event was promoted internally as a networking mixer for artists, executives, and influencers. However, Sheila testified that the environment quickly shifted once guests arrived. According to her, Diddy's personal security detail replaced Prince's staff. Cell phones were confiscated. Guests were told that certain areas of the estate were off-limits, especially a private wing cordoned off from a main party. Sheila said that while the front-facing portion of the event remained professional, Prince grew visibly uncomfortable. He reportedly told her afterward, "There were people here I never invited, an energy I never allowed in my home." According to Sheila, Prince refused to discuss the specific details of what he saw that night, but he made one thing clear: Diddy was never be allowed back into Paisley Park. He told me flat out, "That's the last time. Whatever they were doing, whatever they brought with them, doesn't belong here." Sheila also testified that following the party, Prince began speaking more frequently about ritualistic behavior and manipulation within the entertainment industry. She said this event marked a turning point in his behavior and beliefs. Prosecutors used this account to illustrate a growing pattern of concern from Prince, a pattern the government argues points to a larger, organized network of coercion and surveillance, with Diddy at its center. The court recessed shortly after this segment of Sheila's testimony. But for many in the room, the story of that night at Paisley Park changed everything. It raised a critical question that prosecutors would revisit repeatedly throughout the trial. What exactly happened in that off-limits room? Sheila E's testimony continued with a deeper exploration into what she described as Prince's growing concern over what he believed was a system of exploitation embedded within the entertainment industry. According to Sheila, following the 2006 Paisley Park event, Prince became increasingly vocal in private conversations about what he believed to be a covert structure, a network of individuals with access to wealth, legal protection, and surveillance tools. Their goal, in his view, wasn't just profit, but control. He told me it wasn't just about record deals or radio play anymore. Sheila said. It was about access. If they could get you into a room, if they could get something on you, they could own you. She described late-night phone calls and personal conversations where Prince warned her about the use of non-disclosure agreements, the strategic placement of hidden cameras, and the deliberate targeting of up-and-coming talent. According to Sheila, Prince believed these gatherings were orchestrated to create leverage against unsuspecting artists, documenting compromising moments, and later using that footage to keep them compliant. He said people thought they were attending parties, but they were walking into traps, Sheila testified. Prosecutors connected these claims to earlier testimony and evidence pointing to so-called freak-off parties allegedly arranged by Diddy, events where phones were confiscated, drugs were readily available, and activities were discreetly recorded. Sheila emphasized that Prince never accused individuals lightly. He was cautious, but when he spoke about Diddy, it was different. He believed Diddy was not only participating, he was facilitating. Defense attorneys objected, claiming the statements were hearsay. The judge allowed them under the exception for statements made by a now-deceased party believed to be acting in fear of future harm, a rare legal provision invoked by prosecutors. By the end of this act of testimony, the narrative had shifted. Diddy was no longer just a celebrity on trial. He was being positioned, through Prince's own words, as an alleged architect of an underground system built on fear, secrecy, and control. In one of the most emotionally charged moments of her testimony, Sheila E recounted a late-night phone call she received from Prince just days before his untimely death in April 2016. According to Sheila, the call came around 2 a.m. Prince's voice, she said, was unsteady, urgent but controlled. He didn't sound high. He didn't sound sick, she testified. He sounded scared. Sheila said Prince told her he believed he was under surveillance. They're watching me, he reportedly said. When she asked who they were, Prince responded, the same people I warned you about. I opened the wrong door. Prosecutors asked Sheila to clarify whether Prince named Sean Combs during the call. She confirmed that he did. He didn't say Diddy was coming after him directly, Sheila explained, but he said Diddy was part of the circle. He said Diddy knew what he saw, and that made him dangerous. According to Sheila, Prince went on to tell her that he had gathered documents and was preparing to pass certain materials to a legal contact. He mentioned he was considering speaking to federal authorities. Then came the most haunting line from Sheila's testimony, one that visibly unsettled even the defense team. If I go down, Prince allegedly told her, it'll be because I tried to save someone who didn't want saving. Sheila said she asked if he feared for his safety. Prince reportedly replied, it's not about fear, it's about timing, and mine's running out. Just days later, Prince was found unresponsive in an elevator at Paisley Park. The official cause of death was ruled an accidental overdose, but prosecutors are now presenting a different possibility. That Prince believed he was under pressure not because of addiction, but because he had information that could implicate powerful figures, including Diddy, in what he described as a system of coercion. Sheila's final words in this portion of testimony were chilling. He didn't overdose on fear. He overdosed on being silenced. Following Sheila E's emotional account of Prince's final phone call, the prosecution shifted the court's focus to physical evidence they claim supports Prince's concerns and linked Sean Diddy Combs to a broader pattern of coercion and concealment. A senior prosecutor introduced a sealed envelope obtained from the office of Prince's former attorney. The envelope, dated March 2016, had been labeled simply, "In case of emergency." Its contents, the prosecutor stated, had not been opened until recently, when Prince's estate granted limited access as part of the ongoing federal investigation into Diddy's alleged activities. Inside were 3 signed non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, all dated between 2009 and 2015. Each NDA involved an individual associated with private events reportedly hosted or co-hosted by Diddy, and all were drafted by legal firms connected to music industry management agencies. The first NDA came from a female vocalist who described a private after-party performance, where she said she was pressured to remain in a room under unexpected supervision. She claimed she later discovered a hidden camera and was paid to remain silent. The second came from a touring guitarist who referenced performing at a house event, where guests were instructed to leave phones at the door. He described seeing concealed audio-video equipment in multiple rooms. The third NDA was the most alarming. It referenced a six-figure hush payment offered to a young male rapper who reportedly attempted to leave an event early and threatened to report unlawful behavior to law enforcement. Then came an unreleased audio recording of Prince himself played aloud in court. In the short clip, he says, "They'll call his showcase The Retreat a celebration. But it's not. It's surveillance. It's harvesting." The court sat in stunned silence. Prosecutors argue this material corroborates the pattern laid out in Prince's warnings and Sheila E's testimony, that Diddy operated within a structure designed not for music, but for manipulation. And for the first time in the trial, Prince's voice, recorded years earlier, was now part of the record. After the prosecution introduced Prince's sealed documents and the audio recording, the defense moved swiftly to challenge the credibility of both Sheila E. and the newly presented evidence. During cross-examination, defense attorneys questioned Sheila's proximity to Prince in the final years of his life. They implied that the two had grown distant, suggesting her memories were either exaggerated or emotionally distorted. One attorney asked pointedly, "Would you say you were part of Prince's innermost circle in 2016? Sheila remained composed, replying, "I may not have been there every day, but when he needed to talk, I was still the one he called." The defense then turned to motive. They hinted that Sheila E. might have personal or financial incentives for testifying, referencing her upcoming memoir and ongoing music projects. They implied she was leveraging the trial to boost her public profile. But the prosecution pushed back hard. In a rebuttal phase, prosecutors introduced call logs and voicemail transcriptions between Prince and Sheila, including one just 48 hours before his death. In the message, Prince's voice is clear and purposeful. "I have 3 things to give you. I need to make sure someone I trust has them in case something happens." Prosecutors also highlighted digital security records from Paisley Park showing unexplained remote access to Prince's surveillance system the night before he died, supporting Sheila's earlier claim that Prince believed he was being watched. The defense attempted to redirect attention to Prince's history with prescription medications, suggesting his paranoia stemmed from dependency, not external threats. But prosecutors countered with toxicology reports showing no lethal levels of opioids until the day of his death, and no pattern of abuse in the months prior. By the end of the exchange, legal analysts in the gallery noted a shift in tone. What began as an attempt to discredit a witness had evolved into a broader question of how much Prince knew and how far he went to protect it. The courtroom was no longer debating speculation. It was weighing preparation. As Sheila E. concluded her testimony and stepped down from the witness stand, the courtroom remained quiet, sobered not only by the gravity of her words, but by the broader implications of what had just unfolded. Legal experts immediately acknowledged the significance of the moment. "This is no longer just about Diddy," one analyst remarked outside the courthouse. "It's about the culture of silence in the entertainment industry, and the question of who tried to break it." The presence of Prince in this trial, through Sheila E.'s testimony, his private documents, and that chilling audio recording, has now added a posthumous layer to the case that no one could have anticipated. Once dismissed by some as overly cautious or eccentric, Prince is now being seen in a new light, as a potential whistleblower who may have tried, quietly and deliberately, to expose a hidden system. Following the revelations, the hashtag Justice for Prince trended globally. Celebrities, artists, and fans flooded social media with memories of the late musician's warnings, obscure interviews, and lyrics that, many now believe, hinted at something much deeper than creative frustration. More significantly, several music executives reportedly contacted legal counsel to review NDAs, contracts, and past event documentation. According to a leak from a DOJ source, new subpoenas may be issued in connection to Prince's files. Inside the courtroom, Diddy remained expressionless throughout most of Sheila's testimony. But one observer noted that, for the first time since the trial began, he never looked at the jury. The case is still ongoing, and no conclusions have been reached. But with the inclusion of Prince's voice, the tone of the trial has shifted from one man's alleged misconduct to a broader reckoning with decades of unchecked power in the entertainment world. One thing is now clear. Prince may be gone, but in that courtroom, through those records, he finally got to speak, and the world is listening.